In this module, we will see what you need to do to set up and run your payroll for your employees in QuickBooks. The good thing about QuickBooks is that while you can manually record payroll using your own calculations and just post it in QuickBooks as a journal entry, the software has a built-in feature which assists you in both calculating your payroll, including the gross pay and source deductions. It can also help you with running your payroll reports, along with even preparing government forms such as T4s and records of employment. So overall, if used correctly, it can be a great time saver. We'll first have a look at the setup side, that is, how to work with payroll items. We'll then explore what it's like to add an employee and assign payroll items to that employee. After that, we're going to see what you need to do to perform a pay run, followed by recording the payment of your payroll source deductions. You'll then be able to practice performing these functions yourself in a hands-on Let Me Try session. Before we go further, I want to note that the payroll service in QuickBooks is an add-on that you will need to pay additional money for when you buy your QuickBooks subscription. As we saw back in Module 1, the additional cost will vary depending on what version you go with. It's best if you contact QuickBooks Sales Support Team to confirm the additional cost of this service. However, the good thing is that you are able to access this feature even at the basic level of the software, being the Pro version as shown. So let's begin by exploring how to work with payroll items. You can think of payroll items as the certain items that you need to add or deduct from an employee's paycheck. Now, before you can add or deduct certain items from an employee's paycheck, you'll need to set these payroll items up. I'm now on my home screen. To access our payroll item list, there actually is no option available right in our home screen. Instead, we need to go up to the Lists menu and hit Payroll Item List here. Now notice that QuickBooks has already set up a lot of payroll items for us. Also notice that this list is broken up into different types. On top, I have salary items, followed by my hourly wage items. Then I have advance, like if I give one of my employees a temporary loan. And below this I have vacation pay items, whether it be vacation paid out or vacation accrued. And then all the items that follow below are payroll tax types, such as Canada Pension or CPP, Employment Insurance or EI, and QPIP if you are paying employees in Quebec. What I also want you to notice is the column on the right, which shows that most of these payroll items have a tax tracking assigned to it. This is important to assign when you're setting up payroll items because, as I said earlier, QuickBooks has the ability to fill in government forms for you, like T4s and records of employment. In order for QuickBooks to actually run these reports accurately, these tax tracking fields need to be assigned. And the last column on the right shows which vendor our payroll tax items are assigned to. As we see, income tax deductions, CPP deductions, and EI deductions get remitted to the Receiver General, being the Canada Revenue Agency, whereas all the Quebec payroll deductions go to the Ministère du Revenu, which is correct. Now, for the most part, when you are running payroll, you will likely not need to modify the standard payroll items that QuickBooks has given you. However, there are a few deductions you might need to add, namely CRA garnishments, like if you are required to withhold money and remit this to the CRA for certain employees, health insurance, and RRSP contributions. Let's walk through how to set up a deduction. First, I'm going to go down to the bottom, click on the Payroll Item button, and select New. Then I'm going to click the radio button that says Deduction, hit Next, and here I get to name my deduction. I'll call it CRA garnishment. I'm going to click Next. Now I'm going to enter the name of the agency to whom CRA garnishments go to. In this case, it would be Receiver General. However, you may need to create a new vendor depending on what your deduction is for. I can also assign an account number pertaining to this garnishment, but it's not a mandatory field. Below, I also need to choose which liability account my garnishments will go under. I could have it go to payroll liabilities. However, it would be good to separate out garnishments from regular payroll remittance liabilities. So what I'll do is create a sub-account under payroll liabilities by putting a colon at the end of the name here and type in CRA garnishments. I'm going to hit Tab and hit Setup. I'll set this up as account number 24,001. And for now, I'll hit Save and Close. I'm going to hit Next again. And here is a screen where we can assign our payroll item to a tax tracking type. Garnishments themselves don't actually go to any government forms. However, just by looking at the list, there are some other deductions that would need a tax tracking type assigned to it, like union dues or charitable donations. So I'll select None and hit Next. And on this screen, we can select any of our payroll tax items that we would want this deduction to reduce the balance owing in any of these. For garnishments, this would not impact any of these, so I'm going to click Next. Now we need to decide how we are going to calculate the deduction. So if it was based off of a percentage of a certain quantity manually entered on paychecks, or based off of our hours, you would select one of these two. However, garnishments are a fixed amount indicated by CRA that you need to deduct from an employee's pay. So I will select neither, and I'll hit Next. I can also select if this will be calculated off gross or net pay. I'll just leave this as gross pay and hit Next. And on the last setup screen here, we are asked about whether we have a default rate to apply and if we have an upper limit on the total deductions. Since the garnishment rates can differ for different employees, I'll pass on this screen and hit Finish. And now you can see that my CRA garnishment payroll item is set up. I also want to show you how to set up a payroll item to calculate an additional tax that the employer would normally have to pay based on each paycheck. For example, workers' compensation or WSIB. That is, we are normally required to remit workers' compensation premiums based off of a specific percentage of each employee's gross pay. These premiums are not paid directly to the employee, instead they go to the insurance board. So to set this up, I'm going to hit Payroll Item and select New. This time I'm going to select Other Tax and hit Next. I'm going to select that this tax is paid by the company. The name of this tax is WCB. I'm going to hit Next. The name of the agency that these premiums are remitted to is WSIB Ontario. So if I hit Tab, I'll select Quick Add. I can put in my identification number or account number in here. Let's say it's 4278946. My liability account will be workers' compensation payable. I'm going to hit Setup. My account number will be 24,100. I'll hit Save and Close. And for my expense account, I'll keep it separate from my payroll expenses. Instead, I'll call it Workers' Compensation Expense. Hit Setup, and I'll make my account number as 66,100. I'll hit Save and Close, and I'll hit Next. My tax tracking for WSIB would be none, but it's always best to review this dropdown to be sure. I'm going to hit Next again. Now here is the screen where we can input our WSIB contribution rate. Let's say for 2019 it happens to be 2.5%. So I would type that in here with the percent sign, and my WSIB earnings limit per employee in 2019 is $92,600. So off of 2.5% of that, that means my maximum contribution limit is $2,315. So I would put that in here, and I'll have this limit restart each year. Next, we have to select which payroll items are subject to WSIB. In this case, it is all of these except advances. So I'll uncheck this one and hit Next. We also need to select which deductions would reduce wages subject to the WSIB rate. The CRA garnishments we just set up would not apply, so I'm going to leave this unchecked and hit Finish. And here, my payroll item for WSIB appears. Now, there's one final piece you need to do to activate this so that it appears as an option when you're running each employee's payroll. You need to go to Edit, Preferences, click on the Payroll and Employees tab, and select Company Preferences. Then click Employee Defaults and hit Taxes and TD1. In this window below, I'm going to hit the first column and select WCB from the dropdown, and I'm going to hit OK. So doing this will cause any new employees added to have WSIB calculated on their pay automatically. However, if you already have employees in the system that never got WSIB calculated on their pay, you would need to go into the Employee Center, right-click on the employee's name, select Edit Employee, and under the Payroll Info tab, hit Taxes and TD1, and perform the same procedure I just showed to include WSIB on their pay. I'll show you what I mean when we look at managing employee information in the next section. Let me hit OK on this, and this as well. So that concludes the main things I want to show you regarding accessing and adding payroll items in QuickBooks.
If you're not a subscriber, click down below to subscribe so you get notified about similar videos we upload. To see more QuickBooks Canada videos from Simon Says It, click over there. And click over there to upgrade to the full QuickBooks Canada course.